Juicebox Heroes podcast. Welcome back from Christmas. I'm one of your hosts, PK, and as always, Dubon's Fan Club President is joining us, Mr. Moreno. Excuse me. We are down one today. Shout out to Bryles. He's a little bit under the weather, so he'll join us on the next one. But I hope everybody had a great Christmas. I know we did here. Chris, how was y'all's Christmas, man?
Man, it was good. I mean, it started extremely early. The boys woke up at like 5:30, and then we were only able to hold them off for about an hour. So Christmas started about 6:30 in the morning. So it was a long day, but it was good, man. The kids got all the stuff they wanted, So it was good, man. How was you guys'?
It was good. It was good. Me and Lenz, we were up at six ish, and then let's see, my daughter woke up around, I don't know, hour or so later. We had to wake up, the other daughter. So it was good. We had ours first thing here at the house. Then, grandma's stopped by, then to grandma's house, then to another grandma's house. So it was a whole day of, going around hitting a couple houses. But all in all, man, it was a great time. The kids did good. I got this new mic. I'm super pumped about it. So tonight is the first episode with it, man. So looking a little bit better than my rainbow lit up previous mic. But hey,
there's nothing wrong with it.
But I like it, man. So all in all, it was a good Christmas. So now back to the grind, not back to the podcast grind. So what's up going on with the Astros, man? We had a few things with Dana Brown, come out recently. I think at least the way that I took it was it kind of cemented, Bregman being gone. You know what I mean? So just kind of recap, he was essentially saying that, he's anticipating or planning on Paredes being at third, and of course Christian Walker at first, and that the talks with Bregman and his camp, Boris, really have stalled. So essentially, I mean, that, as far as the way I take it, that's closing the door on Bregman.
Yeah, I mean, I just think what happened is the fact that they gave Bregman, and to be honest with you, I'm really kind of, good job, Astros, because my biggest fear going into all of spring training, or not spring training, but the off season, was that they were going to sit around, wait for Bregman, wait for him to make up his mind, and by the time he made up his mind, either A, he re-signed and there's really nothing left, or B, he didn't resign and now there's really nothing left. Excuse me, free agency. But the Astros said, listen, man, here's our timetable, and whatever goes down from here and there, then we're going to think about life without you. And that's what they did. So I think, honestly, Boris probably overinflated his market. And,
Shocking.
yeah, I mean, and the Astros decided they weren't going to play Boris's game. I mean, so like I said, I am a big fan of everything that they've done this offseason, even though a lot of people haven't really seen eye to eye with how I saw it. But, sometimes you got to, you can't let the big bully win, and that's Boris. So good for the Astros.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder, like, what's Bregman's reaction to that? I haven't seen anything. And let me just say this: look, we were on here for 15 minutes before the damn show started, and not one time in that 15 minutes prior to the show were we sitting here having to clear our throat. So I don't know what happened from the moment that we hit record. It's all of a sudden we got to clear our throats. Anyways, I haven't seen a reaction from Bregman as far as to any comments about what Dana said. I know he's going to use Boris as his agent, to make any comments. I get that, but I really would be curious to see or to hear, what he actually thinks. Is he pissed off at Boris for how it's going down? Because this is kind of the trend with Boris. We talked about it kind of briefly before. Or I think it was last episode, the episode before, where if you look back to last year with Jordan Montgomery and him waiting to the very end to sign, and Blake Snell, it just, I would think these players want to get signed as early as possible so they can have that's off the table they can actually have whatever kind of offseason they want. At least they know where they're going come spring training, and have a spring training to get ready for the season. So now it's just waiting to see where Bregman lands. Now I'm just kind of curious to see, hey, are you really going to get that $200 million that you think you're worth? Or you think that your agent's going to get you that $200 million contract that you want? You're probably going to end. it would be kind of funny to do an over under, on 180. Let's just say the 187 is the number that I keep seeing. 185, 187, which I know that's 13 million less than 200. Obviously, I can do a little bit of math. Still a lot of money. But that's kind of the range he's probably going to end up, I would think. So, I shouldn't say I would be shocked to see him at 200, but I feel like that mid high 180s is probably where he's going to end up, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm going to roll the dice, and I'm going to say it's going to be about 175. That's what I'm thinking. And I just think again, this is Boris overhyping and over, stating how Bregman's, market is. The way I see it is that if there is a team that was going to give him 200, he'd have signed already.
That's what I'm saying.
So, especially like, and I was mistaken because I figured, on one of the earlier podcasts, like right after, I think it was right after the Astros were eliminated from the playoffs. I think I remember saying, well, if the Yankees don't get Soto, they're going to be all in on Bregman. Watch out, they're going to come get Bregman. And I was wrong. I mean, you know, again, I think if somebody was going to offer him 200 million, he would have already signed. And I think that's the problem is that Boris was telling everybody, oh, we've got all these teams looking at him, and Astros, if you want him, give him, 200. And the Astros were like, cool story. We're not going to give you 200. Here's what and who knows? Maybe they did bump up their offer to like 175. Um, but again, I haven't read anything or seen anything so far in the last few days that said that they've pulled that offer. So I don't know.
I'm thinking about, I'm obviously listening to what you're saying, right? I'm just trying to think about how would I feel if we didn't have Paredes at third and we didn't have Walker at first, right? Right now, at all. And we lost Bregman and we traded Tucker, right? Like, I kind of agree with you. Like, I'm, even though it is frustrating to know the Astros don't go beyond 5 years typically, outside of this one with Bregman, from a business standpoint, Crane is doing the right thing, right? Because you backload these contracts with this insane amount of annual salary for a player that's not producing at the level that he is getting paid for. So we're never going to overpay, right? So, but let's just say we don't have Paredes, we don't have Walker, we still traded. Well, we have Tucker. We have Tucker. We have to have Tucker in this situation, right? But you're losing Bregman. Are you still okay with the Astros hard line at 6 years, 156? So here's my answer, right? My answer is yes. Like, yeah, I'm good with it. It's taken me a little bit to get to that point because I think as a fan, you never want the era, the core guys. I hate this era ending shit, right? It's core guys like that, they're leaving because we don't break our bank. That's just the bottom line. And it's smart business. But it's taken me a minute to kind of be like, as much as I want Bregman on this team, we can't afford him for what he's going to want or command, right? Like, he's going to get the top dollar from whoever decides to pay for him, right? But knowing that I have Paredes and got Christian Walker right now,
and Cam Smith down in the minors,
and Cam Smith, exactly. Like, I'm okay. It's gonna suck, It's gonna suck. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck not having Tucker, or seeing Tucker out and right. It's gonna suck not seeing Breggy, cleaning up third base. Like, it is. It's gonna take me a minute to get used to, but I'm okay with it because we've got some players, Young and Paredes, Young and Smith, Christian Walker. You're going to have him for 3 years. I think it's signed a 3-year deal, right?
Yeah, 3 years.
So I've accepted the fact that Bregman's gone. I am okay with it. Not that they're waiting for me to be okay with it. You know what I mean? But like, I'm good with it.
They might be
it
watching
sucks.
this to be like, oh, thank God PK's good.
Thank God PK
okay,
on Juicebox Heroes said that he has accepted it. We can now move
let's
forward.
go ahead and pull the offer. We're done. We can move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I think if we're still sitting in the spot that we were last month, right? And this is pre Tucker trade, pre Walker trading or signing. We're sitting here kind of thinking like, what are we doing? We're just
Mm-hmm.
sitting here watching everybody do their thing, and it's just like everything that we're sitting here like the guy waiting to be asked to dance at the dance, right? And like I think of everybody that just I don't want to be that guy. But all these guys, like I've heard from all the people I've interacted with, it's well, we should have traded Bregman at the trade deadline last year, and it's just like that makes no sense. You're not going to trade a core player when you're at that point. What were they, a game and a half out of first place?
Yeah, yeah, you're just not doing it.
So and then like okay, so let's just say butterflies, unicorns, rainbows. You signed Bregman to this 9-year deal. People were losing their minds this past season about a Braves deal, and we released him with still having a year. Can you imagine? God forbid, in year 4 of Breggy's extension or his contract, he falls off like a Brady does. Now you're on the hook for those last 5 years
Yeah,
of that 30 or whatever million a year he's making. So I don't agree with all the fans that, I put out a post earlier in the week saying, we're here, we're a day before Christmas, I think is what it was. What grade would you give the Astros
yeah,
all
I saw
season?
that.
And then like a lot of people were like, oh, I'll give it a D plus, an F for failure. And it's just like, I get it. They're probably, I don't know. I'm not an expert, right? Nobody pays me for my opinions. But I would think, considering the usual that has happened in the past in the past off seasons, the standing pat, doing nothing. I mean, you've got to be kind of excited to see what these players, these 3 new players that are going to be on the opening day roster, what
Mm-hmm.
they're going to do, right? This isn't, it's not like you traded Tucker for 5 really good single A prospects that we'll see 5 years from now, right? We got a starting third baseman. We got another starter in the rotation. You got a already our number one top prospect down in the farm system, right? And then you went out and you signed Christian Walker. So I think the Christian Walker sign says, okay, we're not doing a typical, even if you want to call it a retooling, because even a retool means is like you're just trying to get rid of some contracts. We're going to gun for it in 2026. They went out and signed the best first baseman that was available, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a crazy contract. It's not like we're paying him 80 million. And I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, we did the same thing to Abreu," but the difference is that Christian Walker at the end of his contract will be, I believe, he'll be the same age as Abreu was in the first year of his Astros contract. So we're getting him just before, if just he was 3 years younger than Abreu was. Um,
But Abreu was also on the downside with Chicago before we signed him. Like he was coming down already.
yeah, no, he was. I
You know what
mean,
I
like
mean? And
he was
so
he
just
was at
to
least yeah, I agree. He was at least a year kind of removed from. Now I know he won the MVP in 2020, and again, I mean, that was what a 30, 40, 50 game season. It is what it
right,
is.
yeah, but
Um,
he was already coming down when we signed him, so we were going to squeeze
we're trying to get something.
whatever amount of what the guy had left in.
We're
And
trying to get
to
that
your
last bit of toothpaste out of the
that's it,
the
man. And
tube.
to your point with Christian Walker, this dude, the last 3 seasons has had 25 plus home runs
3 Gold
in a
Gloves
ball
too.
in a ballpark that is not a hitter friendly park.
Oh yeah, just talk about Chase Field.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he's a Dodger killer,
good.
Dodger killer.
I like it. I like
So
for him to be a Yankee
and
killer
again,
too.
and he's a vacuum down there at first. We got used to Yuli down there. you know, and I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's
I'm used
essentially.
to it. I'm used to it. That's why I
But it's
sit here and
just
allow it to happen.
the Abreu Walker comparison to me is not a comparison.
No, it's not. I mean, like I just think it's people trying to find something to complain about, right? It's like on one hand you're going to complain if they do nothing, and then on the other hand you're going to complain if they do something. And you
They
know
did
what?
too much, pay too
I
much.
would rather be on the hand of them doing something, being proactive instead of reactive. So Dana Brown, I give you a B plus for the offseason. If you can get us another outfielder, I get it. It's not going to be Teoscar or it's not going to be Santander. But if you can get us another outfielder, you know what? I know. this is going to keep you up at night, but you get us another outfielder, you'll get an A+ from me. So you'll
Oh,
be able to sleep
somebody let
easy.
Dana Brown know that he can sleep
Yeah.
better if he gets an outfielder.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
guy, the
just
guys
speak.
down in the guys down in League City and Friendswood will
Yeah.
approve his
Yeah.
off season.
We approve it, so you're able to, enjoy the rest of your 2024. But yeah, so that kind of, kind of a long little 15-minute intro to kind of what we're going to get to is so now that we've gotten, I mean, I don't know if there's a christened first half of the off season versus the second half of the off season. I mean, but essentially it's about, I'd say we're close to halfway done if we're not already halfway done time wise.
I'd
So
say
now that we've,
about give it another week, right? It's
yeah,
about
I
halfway.
mean,
But
and
yeah,
then so looking at what the Astros have done as far as the Tucker trade, the signing of Christian Walker, what left? What else can the Astros potentially do as far as to shape this roster to lead us into the 2025 season and hopefully a playoff contender, hopefully a World Series contender, and hopefully a third World Series championship. So PK, I mean, I'll let you go first. I mean, is there anybody that you think? I mean, I'm sure there's a couple. I mean, but like, we know the Astros aren't going to spend. We're not going to get a another 60-70 million dollar deal. It's probably going to be your lower mid to lower tier
hmm
players. So what names kind of jump out at you and say, "Hey, I'd like to see you in Astros uniform. Let's get this done."
so
I mean,
look,
outside
man.
of the one obvious one.
Obviously, I'd like Santander, right? Like I would because he mashes. I think he's looking for 5 years. Uh,
Mm, mm,
he's looking for a 5 year deal. I don't think the Astros are going to do it. I just don't, which is cool, right? Like
they're
again,
not.
it's smart money. Don't overpay because of 1 year, right? Like
Well,
that's what
it's
happens with these guys. And I'm not saying that Santander only had 1 year, but last year was a really big year
it
for
was a
him.
good year.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And so you parlay that into a big paycheck. This is all these guys do, and that's going to segue into who I really want
I
on
know. Here it
in this
comes. Here it
outfielder.
comes. Here it
The
is.
guy played for $1 million last year. 1 year, 1 million. Prove it that you still got it, Mr. Jurickson Profar out in San Diego.
There you go.
When the Padres signed him last year, I know that I was butthurt about it because I wanted him on the Astros last year. And then when we found out, we might have talked about it, we probably talked about it on the podcast, to be honest
We
with you.
probably did. Yeah.
But then you find out that the guy signed for $1 million freaking. You want to tell me we couldn't go and get this guy for $1 million? So
No. Yeah. That makes sense.
the problem is now is that he parlayed that into a big paycheck for him,
Yeah.
right? But still, I think a 3 year deal is probably. I mean, I don't know the total contract value he's looking for, but I know he's wanting 3 years. I would love to see Jurickson Profar on this team, out in the outfield. That is my number one outfield guy right now. Um, Alex Verdugo is another one that's kind of interesting.
Not Ryan Verdugo.
Well, yeah, not Ryan Verdugo. That's a
Not
pitcher
Ryan Verdugo.
for the Royals. I think we
There
looked
you
it up
go.
last time. But Verdugo, I think, would be that's this mid tier level guy, right? I mean, when I say mid tier, it's like he's not going to blow you out off the charts with his stats, but he's an outfielder, decent glove, got a little bit of pop. He's a lower. He's I'll tell you what, if Verdugo comes to bat in the eighth or ninth spot in the lineup compared to what we run out there in the eighth or ninth spot, I'm
Sometimes
better.
sixth, seventh.
Right. I feel more comfortable with Verdugo in the eighth or ninth, seventh, eighth, ninth spot. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's the level up from what we're running out there.
Okay.
So to answer your question,
Okay.
it is Jerson Profar number one,
I like it.
solely from a contractual view. Santander, if I'm playing, hey, MLB the show with no salary cap, like I'm just, like Santander, Profar. But in reality, I want
Okay.
Profar. I'd like Verdugo as kind of 1B. Um,
Okay.
those are the two for the position players. Um, specifically, I don't have anybody for like a middle long relief, but I feel like that we do need a middle long relief guy. Like we ran Taylor Scott out a lot last year, and granted, we weren't expecting a lot from Taylor Scott, and he, over exceeded at least for what I was expecting from him. But I felt like as the season progressed, he was getting more innings, and
Yes.
we saw him way too much for
Yeah.
what I mean. So we have to get more depth in that middle middle late relief. We still have the Presley. Like, what are we going to do with Presley? Like are we moving that guy? That's probably later on this episode. But like I said, Profar or Verdugo in the outfield, and I think we have to get another bullpen. You can never have enough bullpen help ever.
I agree with you. I
So
agree. So going, I guess I'll start with the bullpen. I mean, I agree with you. I think you absolutely need a guy, and maybe McCullers is that guy. Maybe it's Garcia, right? Maybe it's well, no, they already said Wisniewski's going to be in the starting
he's
rotation.
starting. Yeah.
You definitely the biggest problem last year is that you had no long reliever to eat 2 to 3 innings on a when
Yep.
you're when we had those handful of games where it was 9-0 after the first inning. So all of your middle relievers, I mean, they just got pounded into the ground with overusage, overusage. So, I mean, if it's me, if I am running the Astros, which I'm not, um, I I think that middle reliever, middle long reliever, it's got to be McCullers. I think that's a guy that you can sell it as, hey, we're going to slowly warm you back up to maybe go 4 or 5. But I think that's your long reliever. He comes in when either you're up by a lot or you're down by a lot. Have him eat 2 or 3 innings, and you don't have to need Taylor Scott go 3 innings. You don't need, you know, insert guy that you called up from the minors to go 3 innings. To me, like I just think that really anybody that's on the market, depending on, I mean, you have a couple of, like I said, I know that I've said AJ Minter because Brett has kind of talked me into AJ Minter. I also like what's his name, the dude that was with the Marlins that got traded to
Lizardo,
no, he got traded to the Padres at the trade deadline.
Tanner
Um,
Scott.
Tanner Scott. Yeah, I like him.
That's a dude.
Again,
It's a lefty that throws gas. He's
yeah. I
filthy.
mean, like I said, I mean, depending on he's kind of he's I think he's like 31, 32, probably 31. So he might garnish like a 3 year deal. I mean, but if you can get him for like 7, 8 a year, and again, I mean, like uh, I could be off on the money. I mean, I know that when we did our build a roster episode, I was off by Christian Walker by I think a total of 15 million. I said 3 years, 45 million. I think it was ended up being 3 years,
Six,
60 million, or
63.
61,
63.
something like that. So I was off. I mean, so that means that my mathematics aren't always on par.
Not mathing.
I'm not mathing. So, but I think pretty much any move you can make, whether it's Minter, whether it's what's his name, Tanner Scott. Is that what his name is? Tanner Scott.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Tanner Scott. I mean, there's a litany of relievers out in the market right now that aren't going to cost you an arm and a leg. There's no reliever right now that's going to cost you Josh Hader money that you spent last year. So, and then when I think about the outfield, I think about I'm leaning more towards you got to go another left-handed bat. So that's going to be Verdugo. Profar is a switch hitter, but Profar is probably going to want 2 to 3 years. Probably a little bit more than $1 million, probably more like 10, 12 now. I just think you have to look because, like, I'm looking at this lineup off the top of my head, and I think the only left-handed hitter now we have in the lineup is Jordan. Everybody else is a right-handed hitter. So,
Let's see. Let's run down. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Caratini
because like
Caratini and Singleton
Carrington, yeah,
when they play.
yeah. I mean, Singleton when Singleton was the starter first baseman. Now he's not, so he's gone. Um, so I just think that like, man, you're so right-handed heavy. I mean, like I get you have Caratini on the bench, that's fine. So Singleton really kind of surprised me last year with the amount of clutch at bats off the bench that he
Mm-hmm.
had. So I think there's your lefty potential power bat, like you used to see a lot back in the day with like Matt Stairs, stuff like that.
That
I
dude was
just think,
awesome.
yeah.
That dude was
Um,
awesome.
I mean, so like if you're looking at like, I mean, I'd have to look at Verdugo, Profar. I mean, I just can't see them putting another right-handed at bat or right-handed hitter in that
Yeah.
lineup. I mean, because right now it's, I mean, McCormick and Myers, they're right-handed. They're right-handed hitters. I can't talk all of a sudden.
Well,
I
you
think
have Dubon. You got Dubon, McCormick.
righty. They're all
No, I
righties.
know everybody.
So that's why I
What's
was
Taylor
thinking.
Trammell? What's Taylor Trammell?
I don't know, switch hitter maybe. I think he's a
Okay.
right-handed hitter too. So,
Okay.
but either way, I mean, like, I mean, again, you've got to address the outfield, and I'm not saying in the Astros are not going to go for not Profar, Santander, and they're not going to go with Teoscar Hernandez, not just because they want huge paydays, but they have the qualifying offer attached to them as well, which will cost you draft picks. So I think the Astros are done. They did their one guy that's with the qualifying offer attached to him and Christian Walker. So I think it's going to be kind of like we want them to shop at like Randall's and Target, but it just might be maybe Kroger if we're lucky, maybe Walmart in the clearance section. That's I think that's where it's going to be more than likely. But I'll just take any. If it's a Profile would be my number one,
Hell
number
yeah.
one. But I mean, I'll take Verdugo, even though a lot of people have a lot of negative things to say about Verdugo. I mean, but yeah, I agree, Daw. McCullers. That's why I'm saying, like, I think he would be perfect for that 2 to 3 inning role coming out of the bullpen for like anybody. Like we saw a lot of last season where it was like 8-0, 9-0, and then we saw the same guys being trotted out and just getting gassed out. Um,
I think if he wants to
yeah,
extend his career, that is the route. That's the
I
route
think
for
so too.
McCullers. There's
Yeah.
no other way around it. He can't go. He can't pitch the way he was before. He pitched two damn seasons. You know.
Not yeah. I mean, it's just it sucks. I mean, because like when I think of McCullers, and obviously not joking around. Like we joke around that he's an HEB All Star. Um, but like when I think of McCullers, I think of the 27 ALCS, and I think of like what the 30-31 or something stupid like
Straight
that.
curveballs.
Straight curveballs, and it's just like dude was mowing people down, and it's just like now you see him, and it's just like man, again, there's our HEB All Star, and man, like
Mm-hmm.
like I want him to come back and hopefully he has the attitude of saying, "Hey, man, whatever you need me to do on this team, I just want to be back and I want to contribute."
I just want
That's
to
that's
play.
that's what I'm hoping.
That
Yeah,
should
I
be
just
the
want to
that should be
play.
the fucking mentality. Is
Yeah.
whatever I need to do to
So
get on the field,
yeah,
right? Like that.
and if that's that 2 to 3 and then middle relief long reliever, you know, uh, but like I think that would be his best spot to be, you know, in the middle relief. And I also agree, Profar for 10 to 15 for 2 years. I was thinking about, yeah, I was thinking probably around there, maybe 10. I was saying hopefully it would be 12, but um, I'd be down for 2 years,
Like
10 million a
he,
year.
he's going to get a raise regardless, right? But he still has to put it together. He needs to do it again.
No, I agree. I
You know what I'm
mean,
saying? Like he needs to back up this season that he had. But you
but
give me 2 years at 10 to 15, shit, done.
no, I get it. Last year he hit 280, 24 bombs, right? And at this point, I mean, like, even if he fell off a little bit and hit like 260 with 19 bombs, that's a lot better than what Chaz McCormick gave you last year, right?
Well, all
That's a,
three of those guys,
I know,
our whole
I know.
outfield.
I get it. I know.
That's what's
That's what I'm
crazy.
saying. It's just that I mean, like you kind of have to roll the dice, saying that if with Profar, let's say last year was his Brady Anderson year, and that really dates how old I am, because Brady Anderson, for
That was
anybody
mid
who doesn't
'90s,
know,
mid
yeah, that was
'90s.
early '90s.
Yeah,
So like, I think it was like '93, maybe '94. Brady Anderson does some steroids, nobody knows about it. Hits like 51 home runs because his stupid contract never comes close to it again. So that's why some people say that's just Brady Anderson year. Has one breakout year, then goes back to just being a guy. I mean, even if like I said, even if his production is like 250, 260, I mean, that's still better than what McCormick gave you last year. That's still better than what Jake Myers did. offensively. Now, defensively, Jake Myers is a gangster, right? I mean, I think we all know how great he is defensively,
Yeah.
but it's just, it's like, and then I'm not even mentioning who they're having at right field because you can't go into spring training with that as your starting right fielder. You can't. I mean,
No,
you could. I mean, but like, I just don't see where that gets you to the World Series. That's just me.
no, I agree. You can't, you cannot. There's just no way. You only have five guys that are worth the shit in your lineup right now. Anyway, you're starting your batting lineup.
Well, I mean, I think you might have six. Like you had. Oh no,
No,
wait, no, you traded.
you
I forgot. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. My bad.
got
My
five.
bad. My bad, man. I said my bad.
Now it's better than the full runner of four out there like we did last year. We were in like six,
Yeah.
seven, eight, nine. You're like, God, these guys, man. So, but no, I agree. You're gonna have to. You have to find somebody out there that can play the corner, one corner position, one or two corner positions, so that you can just have a better chance. Because we have to get back on track. Like, yeah, like the era finished. The era finished with the core guys. Like we're retooling. We're gonna run this thing back. We got a little bit younger, a little bit.
A little bit, little baby bit.
I mean, Hayden, Wisniewski, and Paredes are younger than 27, I think.
I think
Right?
Wisniewski is the oldest at 27. Pro four or not pro? I mean, they got pro
See,
four on their
hey,
ring.
speak it into existence, my friend.
Yeah. Uh,
But
Paredes. I
Paredes is
think
like
he
25,
25,
24,
26. Yeah. So
something like that.
and you
So
got Cam Smith who's 21 or 22.
so you got younger,
Yeah, you
right?
did
You
get
got
younger.
younger, and you're saving. I know it sucks. Trust me, it sucks that Bregman's gone, Tucker's gone, but you're saving money. I think what next year we have the Abreu money off the books
And Montero.
and Montero, which you had the math last time. That's 40 something million,
Sure. I think it was like 30.
30 something million off the books next year, right? JV, like we're not running back with JV, right? Which I haven't heard anything. I guess we
Yeah,
could
I
be
haven't heard anything
technically,
either.
but
I mean, there's still the
the point I'm
potential of
saying is that
them trading Presley too.
right, but the point I'm
That's
getting at
tossed
is
to the
that
side.
the core group's gone, right? I except for Altuve, we all know that, but we got younger, right? And what I do like about Dana Brown is what he's done with his pickups. Christian Walker and Paredes, they are dead pool hitters,
Yeah,
and they've got a porch waiting for them
yeah. What is
for
it like
81
175
games.
to the Crawford boxes or something like that?
So
Yeah.
like
Go ahead.
it
Go ahead.
sucks. I'm just saying. I mean, like it sucks. Again, it sucks. Bregman's gone, but what he's done with his science, he's gotten younger with Paredes. He got a pretty fair deal with Walker at first base, but on top of that, you got these Deadpool hitters that got some pop with a short porch and left. I mean, it could shape up to like a
Yeah.
pretty big offensive explosion, something that we haven't had from third and first base in a minute. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I mean, like like I was never on board with the doom and gloom. I mean, actually, I
There
for
you
a
are.
minute, I think like I mean, I only cried for a little bit,
Only
but
cried off air.
yeah, only off air. But I was a little bit more on the opposite side, where it's like, well, if you're going to not resign Bregman, and the second they started talking about the rumors started swirling again on Tucker, I was like, man, let's just do it. Let's just trade Tucker.
Yeah, just move on.
And then like now, granted, I wasn't like let's just trade everybody, but I was thinking it would make sense. We trade Tucker, we trade Fromber, right? Those guys probably not going to resign. Um, and who knows? Maybe they're talking Fromber. I don't know, but like I think from a baseball standpoint, I'm not going to. I think it'd be a pretty hot take to say this team got better. I can tell you this: it definitely. I mean, you can't replace Tucker and Bregman. You can't,
Correct. You
even with
cannot.
Paredes and Christian Walker, right? You probably, maybe downgraded a little bit, but where you downgraded a little bit, you built potential in Cam Smith, right? So again, man, like I'm not going to sit here and cry, oh, Dana Brown doesn't know what he's doing. Well, obviously he does, because why all of us sit at home and some of us do podcasts, some of us troll on the internet. This guy's being a general manager for a Major League Baseball team. So apparently he knows something. And like I said, I've been a fan. of everything they've done so far. I just want them to bring another outfielder, preferably left-handed, preferably Cameron Dinsfield.
Yeah.
You like that? Like how I stuck that in? You like
I,
that?
I had something good until you hit me with this freaking Biggio thing. He's not coming. And that's not the
No,
upgrade we need.
minor league deal.
Okay, fair. Minor league deal. Keep him
Okay,
down in that look, keep him in Sugar Land so that you can go see him
there you go.
on the company suites.
There you go.
It'll
I
be
like
fine.
it.
Um, damn, I really did have something. Like I did.
You want me to
It
repeat
was
it so you can get the mojo back?
it was so good that I forgot it. That's how good it was.
It must have not have been that good if you forgot it already.
Yeah, it probably wasn't. It probably wasn't. I was kind of in the go with the doom and gloom, like you were talking about. Like I'm I'm pretty excited to see the new team.
Yeah.
Like I am. Um, Again, it's gonna be different to see the lineup that roll out, but I'm ready to see what Paredes has. Like what are we getting with this guy? Like, I know what we're getting, but to see it, right? Same with
Yeah.
Walker. I'm ready to see it. And again, man, I think Dana Brown. I know I gave him some shit during the season a lot.
You did. And I
A
had to defend it.
lot.
I had to
Yeah, you
defend that
had you
man's
you
name.
had to. I mean, you kept your homer cap on for sure. You definitely did,
I did.
and you defended him like almost like you worked for the Astros.
Almost.
But we both know you don't.
And if
So
I did, they messed up my address because I haven't received a paycheck.
not one check. Yeah,
Not
yeah.
one.
Well, but no, I think clearly this guy knows what he's doing. I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
So
Again, still want another move.
I have a question for you. So would you say, because I see the chat, Dawes saying that he's extremely happy compared to the last 2 to 3 seasons. Could you say, or would you say, they've created more buzz to see what this team's going to do this year than they did going into last year?
I think there's more buzz.
I do too.
I
I
would
do
say
too.
there's more buzz.
Yeah, I mean, because like last year you had the emergency like overreaction, bring in Josh Hader. Okay, well,
Mm-hmm.
did that really create a buzz? Because it was like, well, I mean, we already had a closer, but cool, Josh Hader. Hey, welcome back. Started here, got traded over there. Now you're back
Mm-hmm.
here.
Hey Presley,
Uh,
appreciate what you've done, but now you're
yeah,
gonna you're gonna
yeah,
open for this guy.
yeah. I like it. I'm willing to agree with you, man. I think I'm more excited to see what this Astros team looks like going into spring training, going into the regular season, then I would say definitely more excited than I was last year because last year it was just like it was Caratini, and then it was Hater,
Hater,
and that was
which
it.
was cool. Again, like you said,
Yeah,
like
yeah, again,
cool.
cool, but it's just like we already have one of those.
But what we
I mean, he
doing?
wasn't
I mean, like,
first
well,
base.
we didn't know.
So,
We didn't know what Abreu. We didn't know we were going to have Abreu this year.
well,
But you
we were hoping
also,
that Abreu was healthy too.
you were hoping that we had the Abreu in the playoffs against the Rangers. That was the Abreu that you were hoping for.
Yeah,
You
no,
know what
I
I'm saying?
agree.
But Dodd to just to go back, yeah, man, I'm pretty pumped. I'm ready to see what this thing's gonna. I want to see the new
I am
City
too.
Connect unis. That's
Oh
one,
man, I'm gonna go on
and
not even a
Paredes
rant.
and Christian Walker.
Why have they not released these new City Connects? I was almost guaranteed in my mind that we had an agreement that they were going to drop the new City Connects. I feel like they missed their opportunity. You drop the City Connects like a week before Thanksgiving, and then purposely only have a limited stock. Wait for Black Friday or wait for Christmas season, and just drop all that stuff. I'm sorry. Like
So
I
you're one of the
figured,
ones that want to spend $400 right when they come out. Is that you?
I don't know about 400, maybe a
Well,
little
isn't
bit
that what
more.
the Space City ones went for? They were selling for, weren't they?
I have no idea. I didn't buy them when they first dropped. I just figured that they would have dropped it right before Christmas, like everybody
Christmas for
else does when
sure.
they drop. Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
No, you're right.
And the fact that they didn't, I mean,
But there
whatever.
hasn't
Hey,
even been like a
there hasn't even been
like
like
a
a
like
coming
a
soon or anything. Like there's
not
been
even
no
like a
preview.
sneak no, yeah, sneak peek. I
Yeah,
was going to say
there's
peep
none
show,
of
but that's not what I was looking for.
that. Hey, some people look for those. We don't judge here. We don't judge. If you're looking for a peep show, that's you do you. You know what I'm saying? But
I'm
yeah, I
curious to
mean,
see.
like
I'm curious to see what they're going to look like, though.
the cool thing is that all their old City Connect stuff was all on sale. And I tell you what, I ran through that like a fat kid through fat camp. And I was like, what? Fat kid in a candy store.
Tucker stuff's on sale too, by the way.
Oh, that hurts. That
I know.
hurts.
Is it too soon?
No, it's not.
Okay. I saw something on Twitter. Like somebody posted, they took a picture of Tucker and Bregman socks from Academy, and they were like,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
"Why?
yeah,
Why? Or too soon, or something like that." So
yeah. Like there's another picture that shows, I guess, all four of them, and then like three of them are all like black and white out.
yeah, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
It's
I
look,
mean,
dude,
it
it
is what it is,
sucks.
man. It
It
does.
sucks. Like, yes, love to go back to 17, 19. Even though we
Yeah, I
lost
mean,
19, but like I mean,
we lost in 21 too.
this team should have at least one more freaking World Series. I mean, look,
I agree. I agree. They
I
should have
kind
had
of
it 19.
attribute. Again, I'm going to date myself again, but
Oh boy.
it's kind of like the Fab Five back in the day with Michigan.
Oh man.
Like they didn't even win a NCAA championship, but that's how good that team they should have. And
Yeah.
so this Astros that we had for these 8 years, 9 years to only have the two. We all
Kind
look,
of
man.
sucks.
It kind of sucks. We should have at least. I'm telling you, and this is not being a homer or like a Houston fan.
Sounds like you're being a homer already.
We should have at least have three. At least three.
I
Should
agree.
have at least have three of them. It should have been 3 out of 5, right? Not 2 out of 5.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I
You
concur.
know. So,
Um,
but it is what it is, man. It's over.
yeah,
Like that part is over. We're on to the new. We got younger. We're gonna save some money.
yeah.
We're gonna retool. Look, it is a rebuild. You're rebuilding your
Uh,
farm system. Well, you're rebuilding your
it's
farm
not really a
system.
rebuild. I mean, a
You're rebuilding
rebuild
your
was
farm
like,
system. And It's
okay,
not. It's not. It's not a
rebuild your
hundred.
farm system.
It's not a
I
hundred
agree.
lost seasons in a row rebuild. But you have to rebuild your farm
But
system. You have to. You got to grow again from the inside, which is how the Astros won. This is why we had those players. We had the
I
homegrown
get it. I
players.
get it.
You have to redo.
But
You know as well as I do
I know what
how
you're saying.
important the farm system is.
I do. I do. But what I'm saying is that I wouldn't say we rebuilt the farm system. We added one player.
I,
We
I, I it's,
added
no, no, no. We're
two
we're
farm
rebuilding the
system.
farm system.
Okay.
We're
But
rebuilt. We're rebuilding it. We haven't rebuilt it.
what I'm saying is, how are you going to rebuild it unless really you look? I mean, the next guy for you to move, if you're going to really rebuild this farm system, would be Fromber right now.
Which I right because you're anticipating picking in the you know I always get confused with the draft. It's the
Well, I'm just
high end round, high
well,
picks, low
it
picks,
was
however you
something
want to look
like
at it.
that, but then they got super duper lame and they try to be like the NBA. So now there's a draft lottery. So, and I guess it's supposed to like
But it's
persuade
probably
teams from tanking, right?
the if they do it like the NBA, it's the teams that didn't make the playoffs or in the lottery. So Astros again, if they're in the playoffs, they're not part of the lottery anyway. Shouldn't be,
Yeah. Well,
and that's
yeah.
not
I mean,
you know what I mean. So I see what you're getting at. You,
yes.
you when you're in the playoffs year to year, you have to hit your draft picks because you're not getting upper echelon players, right? So it's more difficult. But if you have these players like if you move on from Fromber, then you acquire
Well, you got to
the
trade them,
prospects.
but if you don't trade them, it's not like I mean, you can give Fromber a qualifying offer, and that kind of protects when
You at
Fromber's
least
just
get
getting
one
started.
pick
You'll get a
back
pick,
if
or you
he
could trade him and get 3 to 4 prospects back.
right.
And again, we're just talking prospects. We're not talking. There's no guarantee these prospects are gonna be anything, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Jose Altuve was never a top MLB 100 prospect, and
Hmm.
look what happened with him.
Yeah.
Jordan too. I don't think he was ever on the top 100 prospects. Look what happened. So that's also not saying it's a guarantee that hey, Jacob Melton's going to come up and he's going to be the second coming to Kyle Tucker. There's no guarantees that that's going to happen. So it's just more of like there's a better chance this guy is going to be worth something
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
Joe Schmo that's in Double A right now. So and again too, like the thing with Paredes and Christian Walker, there's a lot of buzz. I'm excited. Am I expecting Christian Walker to make us forget about Kyle Tucker? No. Am I expecting Isak Paredes to make us think Breggy who? No. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like it's some change. It's going to sting a little bit, but it leaves us open in a good position next year, and we can go into next season's off season, right? And maybe we can do a little bit. Maybe we can shop at Randall's. All I want to do is shop at Randall's. So, um, but yeah, I mean, you know, I'm excited. I'm ready to, you know, ready to see what the ready for spring training already. Can we bring it up already?
Well, it's getting close. Football season is about to end. I'm sure a lot of y'all watched the disaster that was on TV yesterday on Netflix.
Oh
Anybody?
yeah.
You ever watch that crap?
I don't know. I watched a
So,
pretty crappy movie last night with the old lady. It was worse because she fell asleep too. So I had to stay and
okay.
watch it.
What movie was that so that I don't watch it?
I don't know. It had Ben Affleck in it. Surviving Christmas.
Sounds terrible.
It was terrible. And that's
But
my
yeah,
Juice Box Heroes movie review of the week.
that's that's right. We'll do it again next week.
That's right.
But no, man, I'm pretty pumped. I'm ready for all season. I'm ready for spring training. It's what day is it? 26. We got it's about just over 2 months.
Yeah. Probably about a month and a half.
Nothing to
Because
have.
there's a
Well,
catcher's report.
usually it's around
Usually,
Valentine's and February
yeah.
when they come in, right? So
Yeah.
we're getting there, man. We're getting there. New Year's we'll be back on the 2nd, I would assume.
As far as I know.
If I have my dates right, let's look at the dates. Yes, January 2nd, next
Yeah.
Thursday.
All right. It's a date.
We'll be back, and we'll see if Bryles is going to join us. Hopefully he's feel better. I'm sure he will. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for listening on Facebook, here on YouTube. Um, hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Be safe on New Year's. Uber.
Don't be dumb.
That is a non-paid advertisement. Just don't be dumb.
Yeah,
Uber.
Don't be dumb.
Just Uber.
Yeah, man.
But as always, I'm PK. That's Moreno. And you are listening to the Juice Box Heroes podcast.
All right.
Sweet.
I don't think we went live on Facebook.